Like sands through the hourglass, the sand of Southwick is about to expire in the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. I know that was very clever. This is the last ever after 1976 to 2013 National at Southwick Motocross 338. We've got the highlights. There's a day of highs, there's a days of lows. We're sad we won't be back, but we're glad we got to leave with one more great race. Let's give it to the rip-up.
What's up? You're watching the Racer X show? We're about to do it. Moto-1, Southwick.
That's right, Jimmy. It's the Racer X Motocross show presented by Motorsport.com. Good news, folks. We show you the highlights of 450 Moto1. We have beautiful weather for racing for the final ever national here. You got the Ryans ready to duke it out. Look at the squinting with Brayton and Kennard. That's because the sun was shining. But there was some rain in the forecast. It's raining yellow. James Stewart on the Yoshimura Suzuki bumping and banging around with Andrew Short grabs. The MotorcycleSuperstore.com whole shot. Not grabbing a good start is Ryan Villopoto and Tyler Rattray, who are down in a big first turn crash. Ryan Dungey was caught in that as well, though he didn't have it quite as bad as Villopoto. So, Stewart and Short set sail. They put in a sprint early. They get away while Villopoto is 30th at the end of lap 1 and has a lot of work to do. He's going to be eating sand throughout this. Hey, remember this guy, Brett Metcalf, back in action today, battling with Phil Nicoletti for third early in this first moto. Another one of the New England Rippas, Robbie Marshall, trying to go for a top 20 as Villopoto heads toward the front of the pack. Stewart, though, pulling away from Short. The Ryans are way back. He's got a big lead. It's gone. He's going to win. Huge crash for Stewart. And just like that, his moto was over. Now we focus in on Ryan Dungey, who had slowly but surely worked his way forward, gets around Justin Barcia, now is trying to go after Metcalf, who's running in the number 2 position with Andrew Short in the lead. Then Dungey takes over second. Here's the funny part. When Dungey passed Metcalf, he thought he was in the lead at that point. He did not even know Short was further up the track. Bad news here for the junkyard dog, John Dowd, his final national. First moto ends with bike problems. Here Dungey finally gets a look at Short and realizes, I got to wick it up here at the wick. I got to pass one more guy. But Short did not make it easy on him. The 2 KTM riders, Short and the BTOsports.com machine, and Dungey and the Red Bull KTM battled. Finally, Dungey is able to take the lead from the 29. He'd extended just a little bit, but Short kept him honest right down to the end. And then the battle behind it was raging. You got Barcia there on the Honda. You got Villopoto and Metcalf not too far behind him. The top 5 were all on the same straightaway on the last lap. Villopoto knows that every pass is worth championship points. He's got to move up as far as he can. White flag coming out here now. Dungey and Short chasing each other around. Villopoto digging to try to get Barcia with Metcalf right behind him. Checkers are out. The order doesn't change. It's Dungey, Short, Barcia, Villopoto, and Metcalf. Ryan Villopoto knows he's got to make up some ground after that 4th in Moto1 because Dungey made up some points on him in that one. So let's go racing in Moto2. And Villopoto does a much better job. Michael Byrne looked at the whole shot, goes a little wide, and Dungey and Villopoto are going to fight for it. They actually get the MotorcycleSuperstore.com whole shot to the Dunge, but Villopoto emerges with the lead. You got Barcia and Stewart right there, so 4 capable riders in the sand are up front early in this one. Villopoto puts in his typical lap 1 sprint to open it up a bit over the Dunge. And then Dungey, as he does in most of the races, seems to catch fire a few laps in. Barcia and Stewart are right there to keep Dungey honest, try to keep some heat on the number 2. Behind them comes Nicoletti on the Enfab Tylube Yamaha, opening up some eyes. Ryan Sipes, who had a horrible first moto, was also in the hunt early in this one. Later on, you'd have to deal with Metcalf, though, battling for a top 5. More on him later. Let's focus on the leaders. Dungey loses a little bit of ground to Villopoto, and then about 5 laps in, starts to close the gap. It was 2.5 seconds. Dungey got it down to 0.8 seconds with Barcia and Stewart not that far behind. Stewart, a good recovery after crashing out of that first moto. There's Brett Metcalf chawing his way forward. Yes, that's charging and clawing. He would have a tremendous battle with Trey Kennard in this one. Kennard, by the way, crashed out of Moto1. Similar spot where Stewart went down. He comes back in Moto2, just able to beat Metcalf for the 5th place spot. But Metcalf's 5-6 finishes would still be good enough for 4th overall. Look at the Showa guys on the side of the track cheering Stewart on, trying to get him up there to battle it out with Barcia for 3rd. Here's Dungey keeping the heat on Villopoto. But then, second half of the race, Villopoto starts finding the lines and gets away and goes on to take the moto win. He and Dungey said it really came down to line choice. Once Villopoto found the better ones, he was able to distance himself from Dungey. Barcia goes 3-3 for 3rd overall. He's happy to be on the podium. Dungey with 1-2 scores is your overall winner. Let's move into the 250 class. The Ripper is back. Zach Osborne struggling in the first motos this year, hoping to turn it around in the first moto here. Eli Tomac also said the first motos haven't gone his way. Let's get the start going. Another MotorcycleSuperstore.com hole shot for Will Hahn. He's 3 for 3 so far this year, and he's got the Ripa Dakotas right with him. Also Osborne, and a good start for Tomac. And there goes Tomac around Dakotas to take over the number 2 spot, and here he goes around Hahn to take over the lead. You give Tomac an early lead on any track, it's going to be tough, but especially on a sand track. He was absolutely flying at Southwick. He soon had a massive lead, so we'll focus back behind him. You've got Hahn putting in a good run. Dakotas making the Southwick faithful scream, running in the top 3. And soon you're going to see Blake Baggett, last week's winner from Budds Creek, in the picture as well. Here's Baggett moving forward. He would get Dakotas and then go after Hahn. A little bit further back, he had Osborne. Adamson Cirillo with a good run here in his second pro race. And eventually you're also going to see other riders creeping in. Unfortunately not Blake Wharton, who number 13 season has gone from bad to worse. It has been tough. Here's one of the riders creeping forward. Your series points leader, Ken Roxon. Not a good start. Starts picking riders off. Behind him, you got the entire Star Racing My Plash Yamaha team battling. Then Hahn, who was running in the top 3, his engine blows. So that's going to put Baggett into a solid second place. Here comes your battle. Roxon gets around Dakotas, goes into third, trying to track down Baggett. Behind him, you've got Osborne, Justin Bogle making tracks from the back. And a battle between Cooper Webb and Adamson Cirillo. Been waiting for this one all year. It was good between the two rookies. There's Bogle, who would climb up to 4th around his teammate Osborne, who's 5th. Then it's Seeley. Then it's Anderson. And then Webb, who was finally able to make the pass stick on Cirillo after that great battle. How about Marvin Muscan? Remember him? He went down in the first turn of this moto. He would climb back to finish 10th. Not exactly what he wanted. As for Eli Tomac, just crushed it here at Southwick in Moto 1, won by over 20 seconds. Baggett and Roxon 2nd and 3rd. 250 Moto 2. Yeah! These guys are happy. But it's sad in a way, too, because this is one of the final motos ever at Southwick. We'll have WMX coverage right after this. That would actually be the finale. Jimmy Dakotas, the Ripa, almost rips the whole shot, but Roxon is able to sneak by and get the MotorcycleSuperstore.com award. You're probably saying, where's Will Hahn? His bike broke on the parade lap this time, so his whole shot streak is over. This is the first lap, by the way, and Roxon already has this big of a lead over his teammate Muscan. Then it's Osborne, Anderson, Dakotas, Justin Starling, Seeley, a bunch of the Yamaha guys, and then finally you see Tomac come through outside the top 10. So now Tomac's going to have to hustle to even salvage the overall. Here are some of the guys he's got to pass. Dakotas, Anderson, Seeley, Cunningham, Jeremy Martin. He had his work cut out for him, but boy, again, can he fly on this track. He would start making passes in bunches. Got to run out all these guys in one lap. Then he's got to go after Anderson, and that was a battle. Meanwhile, you have Osborne going after Muscan for second. Muscan started dropping down through the order. Eventually, Anderson would get around him into third. Tomac would follow him. And then the battle between Tomac and Anderson would rage for the number 3 position. I mean, they went at it. Tomac doing everything he could to get around one of his old amateur rivals and finally able to make the pass stick after about a lap and a half of side-by-side action. That puts Tomac in third, but that's still not enough to win the overall. He's going to have to pass Osborne. Blake Baggett, by the way, had a crash in this one. He would only finish 8th after that runner-up finish in Moto 1. Loses some valuable points there. Cooper Webb crashed. Couldn't get his bike restarted. That's a heartbreaker for him. And here is Tomac finally getting Osborne for second. That would tip the overall in his favor. Osborne solid in this moto would end up 3rd overall. Cole Seeley, by the way, 6th today. That's his best finish outdoors in a long time. Well done for him on this rough racetrack. In the moto, no stopping Roxon. He had a huge lead, won by about 20 seconds. But that 3rd in Moto 1, he fell while chasing Baggett. That makes all the difference. He's going to go 3-1, and Eli Tomac is going to go 1-2 and edge Roxon for the overall win. Your final ever Southwick National winner in the 250 class is Eli Tomac. And the final round of the Women's Motocross Triple Crown here at Southwick. This moto running after the first set of motos for the boys, so the track was darn rough. Here's Sayaka Kaneshiro. She's got the points lead coming into this one in the number 11. She goes wide in turn 1. That opens the door for Jessica Patterson and the Enfab Tylube Yamaha. But Kaneshiro with a 14-point lead over Patterson was running second, looking good on the Honda Muscle Milk ride. Patterson could win the moto, really wasn't going to matter. And then Kaneshiro goes down, picks herself up in 6th. That was the Australian, Mackenzie Tricker, going by in second. The 32 is Sarah Pettersson out of Sweden. She would take over third. So now it's desperation time for Kaneshiro in sixth. Should make another mistake. Taylor Higgins would pass her and push her back to seventh. So suddenly, Patterson wins the moto and makes up 11 points out of that 14-point deficit heading into the second moto. And Mackenzie Tricker, torn ACL and all, finishes second. And now we're ready for the final ever moto of the Southwick National. And how fitting is it that it begins in the rain, because that's what Southwick is all about. So in a driving rain, championship is on the line between Patterson and Kaneshiro. Sarah Pettersson gets out to the early lead. She's got Patterson behind her. And this two-rider duel for the lead would soon become a three-rider fight, because Tricker, bad knee and all, would take over the lead, getting around Pettersson and Patterson. Meanwhile, Kaneshiro is in the back trying to make up for a bad start. Rain coming down. Vision is an issue. This is getting gnarly. Patterson, look at how bad these conditions are, is eventually able to take the lead from the Australian Tricker. Tricker running a good moto in second in this one. There's Kaneshiro, desperate to try to make up ground and points. It's not going to happen. Patterson, 14 points down coming in, is going to win the title by 2 points. That's your women's triple crown. Patterson has now announced a retirement from motocross. She's going to focus on the Amsoil Grand National Cross Country Series from here on out. But she knows she ends her career on top, and the Southwick fans are happy. Speaking of happy, let's talk to Brett Metcalf. And quite a guest ride here. We're joined by Brett Metcalf. I know you said the goal was to maybe try to be around the top 5, and you were. You were fourth and flirting with podiums. I mean, what a performance. You got to be happy with it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, definitely happy. I was hoping. I didn't really say anything result. I didn't want any expectations, but in the back of my mind, I really would like to have been top 5. That would have been pretty cool. Hey.
He thought you would get there, so you had some people backing you.
I did have a few.
Yeah.
I did numerous shows with you this week, you and Jason Thomas. I called Brett Metcalf. I said 4, 5, 6. No, I said 5, 6, 7. You mocked me. JT especially mocked me. The man comes through with a 4th. Metcalf, Southwick.
I don't believe I mocked you. Plus, he got 4th, and you said 5, 6, 7, so you beat him too. How much pressure was on you to have one race to perform? And I know you were telling me how much effort you put into this. That's got to be a big load.
I had a lot. And this week, I started to feel a lot of that because I've put in a lot. I've been team manager, acting, riding in the Canadian Series, training, and organizing. I've been really organizing this event for like 2 months. Right. It's been crazy just getting my bike organized, getting stuff, and worth it. Just to be here was my #1 goal, just to be here. The last Southwick ever, I was coming no matter what, and I had a lot of fun today. I had a lot of fun this whole preparation, getting everything ready, and come away with a 4th overall. I wanted top 5 and got it. So cool.
I feel like every time Mathis talks to you, he's trying to bait you into say, like, I told you so, the industry, they let me down, I'm bitter. Do you take that opportunity now, or are you just still rolling with your situation here?
No.
You're good.
I'm good.
Okay. Might we see you back in the U.S. more?
Yeah.
This year?
Unadilla.
Oh, right. All right. We got it right here. Okay, so less pressure because you got another chance.
I got another chance, but this one means a lot to me. Southwick, my first ever win. My best moto I've ever ridden in my life in 2010. So it means a lot. And I've never been off the box every time I've raced here since 2006. So this place has been good. I love the sand. I had to be here. This one means a lot more to me. And Unadilla is going to be fun. But the main focus I have is just to go back up to Canada. That's where I'm contracted to ride. I'm really thankful that the Leading Edge team allowed me to be here today. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. We got a good points lead. We got to go and wrap that championship up.
I'm glad to hear we're going to see it at Unadilla. That's your Racer X Motocross show brought to you by motorsport.com. See you next week at Redbud.